What's up, you guys? Welcome to Fightful. I am Ross Sapp. It is December 1st, 2025. A new era of Fightful, a new era of Fightful Select. We had the Wrestle Votes team joining Fightful Select today. You can subscribe. You can head over there. You can read some Liv Morgan news, get my Q&A article, and check out Wrestle Votes Live now every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. But by God, you guys are here to talk WWE Monday Night Raw. Now, a programming note, I will be dropping a bonus review on Fightful Select as I was not here for the Survivor Series post show. So I will be dropping that as a bonus show on Select. But please go check out the review that Joel Pearl and Phil Lindsay did. But man, lots to get into. I think tomorrow will be a newsworthy day as well. Get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. We would greatly appreciate that if you would do so. Whew, man. WWE Monday Night Raw. The big takeaway of this is that Bron Breakker is absolutely the person who should be the top guy. This was an episode of WWE Raw that did not have CM Punk. It did not have Becky Lynch. No Seth Rollins, obviously. He's sidelined. Cody Rhodes not on this show. John Cena, Roman Reigns. A lot of big names were not on this show. And this was about, first off, tag team wrestling, specifically women's tag team wrestling, and then very specifically Bron Breakker. A very intentional and concerted effort to establish that Bron Breakker is the guy. And did it happen a little later than I had hoped? Yes, but I'm glad that it's the move. We got no progression on the Masked Man. Now, listen, if you are listening to this show, you know that spoilers are naturally a thing. So run away if you want to avoid some spoilers. But the man physically under the mask was Austin Theory. Now, as that relates to what they will do in the future, I don't know. They could just have Austin Theory hanging out under the mask for 2 months and then bring Jericho in and say it was him all along. Like, there are a lot of things that they could do with that, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that that was the case, or that it's going to be Austin Theory. Now, Austin Theory has been discussed for this group for quite some time. I know that Dave Meltzer got dunked on for some of his reporting as it relates to the Austin Theory element, but when he reported that that Austin Theory was planned for WarGames, at the time, a person in the company who was very quick to debunk stuff if it's wrong, especially from Dave, straight up reached out to me and said, no, it's an option. It is definitely an option. And yeah, he's been good to go for a little while from what I understand. But there were also a lot of people asking about Paul Heyman and him shoving a kid the other day. At Survivor Series. For those that didn't see it, a kid walked up to him. The kid put his hands on Heyman. Heyman grabbed the kid, shoved him away. Didn't shove him to the ground, but definitely shoved him away. People I spoke to in WWE said there was no heat on Heyman for that. It was a situation where there was more heat on the security who didn't prevent someone from getting to Paul Heyman. I could see that as well. But we're going to cover all that and more tonight on the Raw post show. If you've got any questions, please let me know. We're going to answer all of them. If you like this Q&A element of things, well, great news. There is no more interactive, exclusive, premium pro wrestling news service than FightfulSelect.com. I know times are hard these days. I know that subscribing to a wrestling news service is a luxury as opposed to a necessity. But when you're there, you get daily exclusive news. You get daily Q&A articles. Every week, you get a Q&A from me. Every week, you get a Q&A from Wrestle Votes, which specializes in a lot of WWE stuff. Every other week, a Q&A from Ask Grapsody. You get Discord access and so much more. It is truly the smartest wrestling community, bar none, by far. It is positive, lovely vibes over there, and just some good, accurate news. Go ahead, lock in your year-long subscription before Jimmy Van jumps up that price. Tim says, just want to shout out to the WrestleVotes team. Their new show was really good. And that was just their Q&A show. They got the news breaking show dropping Thursday. So that's my Fightful Select plug. Hope you guys will consider it. You can also gift subscriptions. But I want to shout out my friend DJ Cass. Says, what's up, Sean? Wanted to say you're doing a great job. It was a pleasure to meet you over WrestleCade weekend. Keep up the good work. Had the wonderful honor of running into our friend DJ Cass a number of times at WrestleCade this weekend. Oh man, my heart needed WrestleCade this weekend. I had a loss in the family last week, and it's been a tough couple years. And I can't imagine not going to WrestleCade on Thanksgiving weekend now. Like it's such a just welcoming place, and it was just a wonderful time. I always love it. North Carolina. I always say Toronto is my home away from home, right? North Carolina has become my home away from home, so to speak. Very similar to Kentucky. And it was wonderful seeing DJ Cass, who's been doing some reffing over the last few months. He's been updating us on that as well. But I got to meet a bunch of you guys this weekend, and it just really cheered me up, made me feel very good, and helped me through a tough time. So did I get to meet the Tribal Keith? I did get to meet the Tribal Keith. I got to meet the Tribal Karen as well. Tribal Keith met Okada as well. Look at that. Also know AJ Lee. K775 says, is Becky and AJ Lee in creative limbo while mocking Trump, finding ways to entertain herself on social media? So AJ Lee will come and go. Like when I saw people putting out there immediately following her return, like, oh, she's back and it's full time, I was like, hold on, partner, before we giddy up here. Like, that's not what I was hearing at the time. And as you can see, there hasn't been anything resembling a full-time return as of yet. She popped back up for a couple weeks and did the WarGames build, and now she's gone again. It's just okay for her to be doing a part-time schedule. She's back for the first time in years and years and years. Maybe she'll kind of work her way into that, but they claim that CM Punk wasn't cleared tonight and he wasn't there. Well, I'll work to find out like how true that is, but he's booked for a match, so I can't imagine like it's beyond kayfabe or anything that necessarily would keep him out that long. They already planned a match for a month away, but let's talk about this show. Rio, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte. By the way, man, I hate to plug again, but the Fightful Awards, we have started the voting for Fightful Select subscribers. Please get those votes in. And let me tell you, that Charlotte Survivor Series gear, like within hours of that happening, it got a ton of votes for gear of the year. Like incredible gear that she had there. But we had Rio come out, Rhea and Io, saying, you know what? We came back, overcame this broken nose. We won WarGames, and now we want revenge on the Kabuki Warriors. And that's what we're going to do. We want those tag team titles. Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, who are still going to remain a team, come out and they say, yeah, that's fine. We understand that you want those tag titles, but we do too. We lost them. We want them back. So how about we settle this the good old-fashioned way? Have a tag team title or have a tag team top contenders match. Jockey for some position here tonight. Of which my feeling is, hell yeah, brother. Answered a question on Select Answers today about what I wanted to see more in wrestling. And there's three very simple things from a baseline that I think are the fundamentals of pro wrestling. It is make sense. Wins and losses should matter. Titles should matter. Good matches should happen. Entertaining segments should happen. If you make winning and losing matter, then everything else on the show matters. Because then when somebody else gets screwed out of a loss, it's not just them getting screwed out of a loss. It's them getting screwed out of their opportunities to make money, to earn championships, to achieve their goals. But if you run around and tell people, well, it doesn't matter, and oh, by the way, anybody can just run in and end a match, you lose a lot of that. And this took me on a roller coaster. I was so excited for the division. I can't say the division. The women's United States title division is just criminally underserved. But this division, of which tag team wrestling has just been completely ignored for quite some time, after there was a real appetite for these tag titles, you get 4 main event caliber talent who have been world champions saying, "Oh, you want those tag titles? Well, these tag titles are important to us too." That's what you need. You need people maximizing the stakes on the show, and that's what I feel like they accomplished in this opening segment. And I think that is a very important thing to do on a wrestling program, especially when there are so many goddamn championships. One of which you had Nikki Bella run in, lose 3 matches, then lose the title match, and then not on Raw. All right. Well, that point of contention aged pretty well for you, boy, didn't it? Like I didn't understand that. So what I see here with Rio and Charlotte and Alexa, I loved. I mean, Rhea and Io should have already been in contention anyway. It's a small division. They beat the Kabuki Warriors. You could go as far as to say they beat the Kabuki Warriors in their last match. So let's go ahead and do that. But I liked this. Then the main event happened. And they were just getting cooking when the show ends about 8-9 minutes earlier than what you would expect. And there were a couple botches in this match, like Rhea going to put Charlotte up for the Razor's Edge and dropped her, and it looked like it could have been bad. And then on the Riptide, like lost her balance a little bit. But they were starting to cook right there. They were starting to get going. And the really good match is ended by a DQ because the Kabuki Warriors have run in, and it's the wrestling trope. Well, I guess there's no top contender because we ruined the match. I hate that logic because it is never applied. It has never worked. The same thing always happens. No, you're going to face both of these teams. Well, then what happens? Well, then as the Kabuki Warriors are running in, Bayley and Lyra make the save. Bayley and Lyra, who, by the way, backstage were confronted by the Kabuki Warriors. They say they want their tag team title shot, even though they last wrestled a month ago, by the way, and lost to the Kabuki Warriors. And then their match before that was them losing a tag team title match. So why on earth would they be in contention? They run out and make the save. Yeah. Yeah. And I want to make this clear. Love the team of Bayley and Lyra. Adore the performers. They're great. Why in kayfabe would they be in contention? They are followed by the Judgment Day combo of Raquel and Roxanne, who do have a reason to have themselves be in the conversation. Their last match was a month ago when they beat Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer. Cool. Now, I just want some logic applied here. Rhea and Io, it makes sense. Charlotte and Alexa, everybody wants a rematch when they lose the title, right? But there's a lot of this talk of, I want my rematch. I want my rematch. That gimmick's gone. It's been gone for 7 years. You don't get the automatic rematch anymore. It's long gone. It's supposed to be a meritocracy. It's supposed to earn that rematch. Now, granted, in this particular situation, you do have a team that won WarGames competing. That I can get behind that. I can rock with that. From a logic standpoint, I can get with that. Bayley and Lyra, I feel like, should kind of be the odd ones out, and them using that as motivation in order to get back there. Raquel and Roxanne won their last match. Kabuki Warriors are the champions. Rhea and Io beat the Kabuki Warriors their last time out. Charlotte and Alexa just won WarGames and recently lost the tag titles. If you have to do they're all getting a title shot thing, those are the four I can rock with. Interesting wrinkle at the end of this show where Liv grabbed the tag team title and held it up with Raquel, or actually Roxanne did. And Roxanne handed it to Liv, who had been kind of side-eyeing her and stuff. But then Liv handed it right back to Roxanne. That was, I thought, a really, really perfect endorsement. And over the last few months, you thought this was going to have more of the Dominic leaning into the Roxanne type of stuff, but they really leaned out of that in recent months. So there's not that much of a reason for Liv to dislike Roxanne. Roxanne's been a good soldier. She's been a great addition to Judgment Day, right? So this makes a lot more sense that she'd be like, yeah, here you go. The match itself, I felt like it wasn't as good as I had expected, but I think it's because there were some miscommunication spots there. Definitely some botches in there, which, they happen, but it got brought to a screeching halt minutes earlier than I would have expected and DQ'd. And I'm okay with them ending the show 7-8 minutes earlier. By all means, let's get this show on the road. I think you need to do that for a predictability standpoint as well. But I was just like, yeah, okay. Another DQ finish on Monday Night Raw. Do we need it? And then a big brawl. Misfit Wrestling Podcast says, can't wait for WarGames. What a WarGames setup. Very clever. Very clever, my friend. Well, I'll tell you something clever. I'll tell you something incredible. It's the gift-giving season. And you don't want to be a last-minute shopper. Get Aura frames. Upload unlimited photos and videos. You just download the Aura app, connect to Wi-Fi, preload photos before it ships, personalize your gift, share photos and videos effortlessly straight from your phone all year long. You can even add a message before it arrives for that special someone you're getting this gift for. It's got this great gift box that's included, and it prevents you from being a last-minute shopper. A thoughtful gift for anybody in your life. If you're struggling to shop, I've got the thing for you. And for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter. Just use the promo code FIGHTFUL at checkout. That's AURA frames.com and the promo code FIGHTFUL. This deal is exclusive to our listeners, and the frames sell out fast. So make sure you go ahead and get yours. I've got one here, giving it to my mother this year. Very excited to give her that gift. Listen, we've had some rough losses in our family, and I'm very excited to be able to put some of the more positive, lovely memories in there with Aura frames. Really love these guys, and am very excited to be able to do this and bring you guys a wonderful deal on Aura frames. Tag team division, again, looking good, looking positive in that regard, but I really think that they need to make a little bit of sense there about why Lyra and Becky are in that after they have come off of losses. Liv was backstage and she confronted Stephanie Vaquer, dug that, enjoyed that, just a little, hey, I'm here. I think Liv Morgan needs to win the Royal Rumble. I am a big proponent of Liv winning the Royal Rumble. We also had a Liv Morgan story on FightfulSelect.com, but they went women's wrestling heavy tonight with minimal featuring of Stephanie Becker and almost no featuring of Becky Lynch. I think that's good. I mean, this Raw division it's loaded, man. Like, look up and down the roster of just who's on this Raw team. I think you need to kind of spread the wealth over to SmackDown a little bit, but like that. You also had the Judgment Day promo, of which Liv smacked Dom and hugged him. Okay. But they said that Judgment Day is taking over again. Isn't it weird to think that this stable is almost 4 years old? Like, at this point, like, it's been one of the most successful WWE staples in the company's history. Like, especially when you go and you branch out beyond the trios, right? And you eliminate the Shield and New Day and people like that. When you talk about stables that have like what, 4 or more people in it, they are among the most successful of all time. And look what it's done. It's extended Finn Balor's career and made him a great tag team wrestler. It has launched Dominic Mysterio into the stratosphere. JD McDonough has become an absolute Douglas in the ring. It did not work out for Edge at all. It did help launch Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest to top level heights. God, man, the ring general that Raquel has become in the ring is just really, really great. And now Roxanne Perez is a part of it. I just want to say, like, this has been a wildly successful stable. And at times they dominated the show and you don't want to see it anymore and all that, but very successful. Dave Cost says, as pleased as I am regarding the women's tag division, Charlotte and Alexa are grossly needed in the main women's segments on SmackDown, which is a wasteland for Jade. Yeah. I think they need to spread some wealth there. And I would honestly send Bayley and Lyra over to SmackDown, to be honest with you, is what I would do. And then that freshens up a lot of scenes. Sending Bayley and Lyra over to SmackDown freshens up the world title scene, the U.S. title scene, a lot of stuff like that. So I think they should really, really, really do that. Elsewhere in the women's division, Ivy Nile goes up to Adam Pearce and says, I deserve a title shot. Now, listen, you guys know I am an absolute dork for wrestlers with an MMA background, with a shoot background. I love it. I'm a big fan of Ivy Nile as a person, as a performer. I think she's very underrated in the ring. When's the last time they had her win anything? When's the last time she was even on Raw in a match? I'm trying to look back at the last time she won a match on Raw. It's been over a year against Zelina Vega. Now, Adam Pearce, they could have just scripted this. He could have said, you know what? I saw you beat Thea Hale on main event, and I agree, you deserve a title shot. That's all it takes. Just one little line. Thea Hale is a great prospect, and you beat her on main event. But that would have to acknowledge the fact that you have a show that you still produce, right? And they can't do that. They can't do that, even if it adds a little bit to the context of their show. Then we get this montage of Maxine training, and there are absolutely no clear shots. It is all very close up. You can't really see what she's doing, but you can tell that Natty is there. And you can tell that it's by design because Maxine is tapping somebody else out. She's getting put through the ringer. She is, working to submit somebody. And you're like, oh, maybe she's tapping out Natty. Maybe that's what's going on. But then Natty says, all right, try it on me. And Natty's beating her ass and saying, do it again, do it again, do it again. That is particularly like within the catch wrestling circles. Like, it's a very common thing. Again, again, again. Stu Hart, Billy Robinson, anybody that ever did as much as a seminar with them have heard do it again, do it again, do it again, been slapped in the leg with a cane, etc. Natty's continuing that, right? Like, She is going full Stu Hart here. And it is Natty. It is not Natalya here, which is long overdue. Very, very long overdue getting this Natty character, the low-key legend, on the show. And we had Dave Koss with a super chat that did not get added to our document that says, low-key legend vignette ruled. Very happy for her. I am too. Like, I've interviewed her a bunch of times. You guys can tell. You guys know how much I love the catch wrestling background as well. And Natty being able to do that hopefully makes a big difference for her, because I know that this is the type of thing that she wanted when she signed. She told me as much during our interview. Has a great book out, by the way. Really loved it. Check that one out, guys. I think she did an audio book as well. I think it's out also. I saw somebody say, hope they license Rage Against the Machine for her theme, like she uses on the indies. And let me tell you guys, I really doubt Rage Against the Machine is going to license their music to, of all people, TKO. They are the machine of which Zach De La Rocha and Tom Morello were raging against. So I'm not expecting that one. Dave Koss says, tonight would have been a great end of show angle if we were headed into the women's tag team elimination chamber. Too bad it's December. Haha. However, this women's tag division was properly presented very well. Yeah, I just didn't like the DQ, and I don't understand. I mean, listen, to be clear, Bayley and Liber can run in. That's fine. But if they're going to then position it and say, okay, tag title match off of that, not keen on it. Now, if they want to put all four of those other teams in a top contendership match, not only do I not have a problem with that, I love that idea. I think that would be great. I think would have been a great main event for Monday Night Raw tonight that actually saw its way through. You know what I mean? One of those would have worked out pretty well. The last time is now tournament semifinals. I'll tell you what I could go without seeing ever again. Anybody kicking out of a burning hammer of any sort, of any kind. You know what I mean? Whether it be a proper one or the full flip over version, or even Bianca's KOD. I don't need to see anybody kicking out of that one. None of them. Don't need it ever again. That being said, crowd was, man, you know, LA Knight and Jey Uso, the crowd's going to be hot for this. The Survivor Series spot, of which I will talk about at length on my review, was the perfect example of me saying, okay, Jey Uso going up the cage and running back his intro, that isn't for me. I don't like that, but it is for somebody else. And I can recognize that it is for somebody else. And it's one of those things of which I say anything I say should be my opinion unless I'm presenting it as news. But it's one of those things where I can objectively look at it and go, okay, I see, I can hear the crowd. I see the happy people reacting, right? Like, very clearly that's a thing that the audience likes, even though I don't. I ain't going full Palowski on you guys. Don't worry. But LA Knight gets the win on a good pin counter. And, you know, there was, man, you know, a few weeks ago, I had a lot of people, a lot of LA Knight fans not happy. They said, man, he's getting buried. He's getting buried. And I am not as much of a, well, let's let it play out unless somebody gives me the benefit of the doubt. With LA Knight, he's a tough guy to book, right? He is not going to have the 10 out of 10 matches. No disrespect to him. He will have 10 out of 10 delivery on promos. Hard to match a guy that's as quick-witted as him. Hard to find a guy that can deliver a line and an exclamation point, a punctuation mark. like LA Knight. Hard to find many people that get more of a crowd reaction than him. I thought he should have been in WWE years before he was. You can go back to my you can go back to wrestlinginc.com, brother. You can go back to my July 2015 reviews of TNA wrestling. And I'm like, man, that Eli Drake should be in WWE and he should be there right now. And he should be an upper card guy. Love the facts of life. Dummy. Yeah. All that shit. Loved it. Had a literal dummy button that I would press during my shows. He is an undeniable character. And how about this one? Isn't it wild to think that at one point, NWA had Thunder Rosa, Eddie Kingston, Ricky Saints, and LA Knight all on their roster at the same time? That show used to be fire. Anywho, LA Knight's here now, and understandably, his fans have been very frustrated. He didn't win a match for a long time, but I knew that coming out of the summer, he was still going to be involved in that title scene because it was hard to take him anywhere without getting him involved in the title scene. Now, they made him lose out of that title scene, and what happened? The guy stayed over. And if they're going to have Gunther win this tournament, of which clearly they are, LA Knight going to the finals is something I'm okay with. Would I have been more in favor of it being a young guy like Carmelo Hayes or Javon Evans? Sure. Against Gunther in the finals? Sure, I would have. I definitely would have. But LA Knight winning against Zack Ryder, against The Miz, and then tonight against Jey Uso, I think is a good way. I don't want to say to pacify his fans. It sounds so smarmy like that, but to give him something to do creatively in the meantime. And I think that's very important to do. Jey Uso crashed out, threw a bunch of stuff over. I loved that. Thought that was great. I don't listen. Would I feel like it would be more creatively satisfying for me as a viewer to see Jey Uso as a heel? Yes, it would be. However, WWE does not exist to simply creatively satisfy me. There are literally thousands of people in an audience dressed like Jey Uso on any given night. Kids coming up to my door for Halloween candy on October 31st. Yeet, with the shades on and everything. Multiple. It's pretty good indication that somebody is over. I understand from a business perspective why turning Jey Uso heel might not necessarily be a thing, of which TKO is like, yeah, but you know what? We got to have this banger storyline. They're probably like, no, I like these banger merch numbers right now. I get it. I understand. I loved the crash out ringside. I didn't love the promo, and it's not the way he delivered it. He did great. He did with what he was given. I didn't really mind it up until the last line where he's like, you know what? Maybe Roman's right, and the titles do look better on his shoulders. And I'm like, what? Dude, you've been on like 200 WarGames. You've main evented a bunch of pay-per-views, won the Royal Rumble, won the title at WrestleMania. Won the title, like, what? Huh? What? I don't get it. Won the title, like, it didn't make a ton of sense to me right there. But I love the crash out. I thought that was very, very good. I'll tell you what I'm not crashing out about. Our friends at MyBookie. Hey guys, Sean Ross Sapp here to tell you about mybookie.ag. Yes, you can bet on professional wrestling. I know a lot of people watching this know that they have some insight. They've got a little bit of a heads up. And if you think that you know more than the odds makers, head over to mybookie.ag. Use that code FIGHTFUL. Get a $50 bonus with a $100 deposit or a $100 bonus with a $200 deposit. They have lines on upcoming shows for WWE, AEW, as well as all other sports. But leave it a little bit of extra if you feel very confident in the direction of some of the booking, the direction of some of the storylines. You can bet on anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Use that code FIGHTFUL. Please only bet what you can, and please bet responsibly. Mybookie.ag, bringing you the best experience from the best. Mybookie.ag and the code FIGHTFUL. Give you guys a little behind the scenes on my betting habits over the last month. You guys know the Cincinnati Bengals are my favorite team. Shout out Common Bengals W. For the last number of weeks, I had publicly bet against the Bengals. I bet against the Bengals when they played the Jets for the Jets' first win of the season. Made some good coin off that. Bet against the Bengals against the Bears. Bet against the Bengals against the Steelers. Bet against the Bengals against the Patriots. The only thing I betted favorably on over at MyBookie for the Bengals during that stretch was Chase Brown on the over yardage against the Patriots. So I nailed that one as well. Joe Burrow came back last week, and your boy posted his bet slip. The streak continues. I bet on the Bengals to win last week, and I've won 6 in a row at MyBookie. Now, in the new year, I'm going to be adding a special exclusive preview show on FightfulSelect.com where I give you betting tips and all that. Richard Green says, you a bigger mark than Rosenberg. No one should ask or take betting advice from you. Well, I would agree with that, Richard, unless they would want to be, I don't know, I think we're 34 out of 35 on our lock picks. And the only one we missed was because Jelly Roll politicked, of which he publicly admitted to lose the match. So, Richard Green, you're more of a Richard Brown because, listen, I'm rolling in the green right now, and you're not. And by the way, I don't know what that profile picture is, but hope it gets better for you, buddy. MyBookie, AG. You a bigger mark than Rosenberg. Like, we're not even in the same we're not even in the same like lane. What are you, a bigger? I know you're still here, Richard Green. That's Mr. Natural Moron. What? Guys, let's figure out why Richard's so angry. Let's find out. Richard, why do you hate Rosenberg so much? What did he do to you? What do you consider a mark, Richard? Let's hear about this. This should be fun. This should be good. I've got a little bit of time today. Anywho, Adam Pierce asks Eddie Orengo to scout out the vision. They mentioned that Seth Rollins was in San Diego at Survivor Series with no sling on. And I like that they integrated this into the show. Adam Pierce is like, this is the guy that faked an injury. Maybe he faked a beatdown too, but my medical team is saying no. Now, granted, Seth Rollins also faked things to his medical team before in kayfabe, right? Eddie Orengo says that nobody saw anything. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I saw people saying, I can't believe they didn't pay this off tonight. This is a let it play out situation. Let this play out. Let this play out. Ray is backstage saying he might go after the IC title again, and Logan Paul confronts him. He's like, nah, loser. You don't deserve that. And Ray ends up cracking him. Logan's like really coming along here, and he's pretty regular character on the show. He's really rounded himself out from a promo perspective as well. And he's not just like a celebrity wrestler anymore. Like, that man is getting paid millions to be a full-time wrestler and is doing it very well so far. And him and Ray have some chemistry. They can work together and put on some good matches and do some stuff. But we also had a couple of absolute humpers, man. Absolute humpers on this show. Gunther defeated Solo Sikoa. And just, you got a lot of great reaction here. Dave Koss says, I really think that was Solo's best match ever. He met the huge moment. I was pleasantly surprised. Meat. A lot of times, yeah. Demon Diva says, I'd sue you, but you're broke after you got slapped. That was a great line. It was a really good line. But I felt like a lot of times, like, Solo wrestles very similar to Umaga. Of everybody in the family, Solo doesn't wrestle like Jimmy, like Jay, like Jacob, like Roman. He wrestles more like Umaga. And I felt like a lot of times throughout Umaga's career, Umaga had to like kind of prove that he could work, because so many times they just put him in there with guys that couldn't work. And you're limited with the number of, or the kind of matches that you can have with people like that. Solo is in a faction of, all due respect, not exactly the Four Horsewomen as it pertains to working here. And he's not always put in a position to have like workhorse matches. And he was put in there with a guy in Gunther who was an absolute meat slapper. Absolute meat slapper. And he rose to the occasion. Timmy says, the guy to retire Goldberg, the last guy to face Bray Wyatt. Hope Friday boosts LA Knight even if he loses. Thanks, SRS. Well, Timmy, I think it's going to be Gunther, but I want to say that I felt like Solo Sikoa rose to the occasion and had a great performance tonight. Now, could Gunther have a great match with anybody? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But this one was more than just like, oh, passable match where he chops people. I feel like Gunther could have had a fun match against Honky Tonk Man like a few years ago, right? Honky Tonk doesn't work anymore. But this was good. There was a kick to the penis in this match as well. Noise is pleasantly surprised by how good the Solo Gunther match went. Still would prefer someone who wasn't a made man already or someone who wasn't over 40 to get the last Cena match. So I kind of agree with that. And I'm going to tell you guys how I imagine this John Cena match goes, because LA Knight came in and confronted Gunther and was honestly being very respectful. He's like, do what you do this weekend, best man wins, etc. But here's how I imagine that the John Cena final match goes. And I've mentioned this before on the show. This is in Washington, D.C. This company is in love with the Trump administration. I don't know if Trump's going to be there. He's got the Army-Navy game that day. But you got John Cena, Mr. Cut and Compromise to a permanent end, with his like temporary Southern accent, in Washington, D.C. in his last match against the big foreign heel. And John Cena is like an 80s action movie star, right? There's nothing more 80s action movie than beating the big, bad foreign heel in Washington, D.C., waving an American flag to end your career. Now, personally, I think there are cases where you do the honors. There can be some exceptions. I love that Sting won his last match. I wish Kurt Angle had not lost his, considering the way that it went. But there are two options, as I held up one finger. John Cena is the conquering American hero. So lick my butt and suck on my balls, America. Fuck yeah, all that. You're playing all that. Yeah, Ravenslade, you get it. Freedom is the only way. Freedom isn't free. Freedom costs $1.05, so on and so forth. Or you have Gunther, who beat Goldberg and retired him, beats John Cena and retires him, and I think becomes the new legend killer. That's what I would do personally. I would have guys, you go through your Rolodex, your WWE Rolodex. Gunther makes a challenge to any legend, and if he beats them, he retires them. And you have 2 or 3 of these where Gunther is having somebody's last match ever. Some of them formidable, some of them not formidable. But he puts a few old yellers to rest, and then he very specifically goes after Randy Orton. Says, I'm the legend killer now. AJ, if he wants to retire AJ as well, that boy, you want to talk about a great match. Imagine AJ hitting that Styles Clash on Gunther. I think there is really great non-title creative here that can be implemented with Gunther that can keep him away from the World Championship for a little while, give him something to do that is an event, so to speak, right? Naturally, you work into the feud with Randy Orton. I mean, you want to talk about a good comeback opportunity. You can do Gunther and Orton at WrestleMania, even. Gunther is like, I want to face a legend. I want to kill a legend at WrestleMania. Then Randy Orton's music hits. Bam, there you go. Seems awfully easy to do, and predictable isn't bad if it's good. Just saying. Just saying. Do it, guys. Gunther retires Jericho eventually. I would love that too. I see Jericho's path being WWE. If I were Jericho, I'd do the Rumble return Mania program. I'd go over to AAA. I'd work a few months there until Triple Mania. I would go over to TNA, work there until Bound for Glory, come back to WWE, do another 6-month run through Rumble and Saudi Mania. That's what I would do if I were him. Well, AJ Styles is set to retire, but not before he beats the New Day. They were kicking in this match. They had it going. Love that wheelbarrow leg drop, but let me tell you what I really love. That finish. I think it was Kofi that was hung up on the ropes, and Dragon Lee does the double stomp. It is a play off of the Young Bucks power bomb that they do, where they use momentum and they flip over into the power bomb, except AJ caught him and did the Styles Clash there. Damn, brother. Give me that. That was I hate to use the term phenomenal. That's corny as hell. A fantastic, phenomenal, incredible finish. That's that shit you like, right? I have been mourning the tag team division with New Day for months until finally they decided to run this thing where AJ Styles and Dragon Lee are just like, I'll fight him. I don't care. Then they go backstage and they tell Adam Pearce, hey, we just defended the titles. That was a lot of fun. We want to do it again. He says when. They go next week. Adam Pearce goes, all right. Now, you guys know that one of my top complaints is people who don't deserve title shots, people who haven't come off of wins, et cetera, et cetera. They really circumvented that. And by the way, I'm like the only person that watches Main Event. The War Raiders did beat American Made like 2 months ago and haven't wrestled since. But kind of circumvents it when AJ Styles and Dragon Lee go up to Adam Pearce. And Adam Pearce is like, do you have anybody in mind specifically? And they're like, well, how about somebody who didn't get a title rematch like 7.5 months ago, the War Raiders? Well, shit, I cover this show and I didn't even remember that, but good for them. Shout out to AJ Styles. AJ Styles was perusing Cage Match at some point. To be fair, though, they did get a rematch. It just also included American Made. They didn't get a 2-on-2 rematch. But since then, they've won a bunch of matches, like between live events and some six-mans and all that. Unfortunately, it does not look like we're going to be getting the Lucha Brothers back anytime soon. Looks like Penta might be out for a while. Want to wish him the best, man. I think that Penta and JD McDonough had kind of been like the glue in WWE's tag team division, and hope he gets back soon. Guys, you know I'm always telling you to subscribe to Fightful Select, right? I'm going to make a little trade-off here. Let me save you a bunch of money. Then you take that savings, you go subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. Here's how you do it. If you just watch WWE content and you don't want to have Peacock for the NXT pay-per-views or John Cena's final match, you don't want to have to get ESPN Unlimited for things like Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble, don't want to deal with a cable service to get SmackDown, NordVPN.com/Fightful will help. If you're watching this, you almost certainly have a Netflix account. That's how the whole world watches Raw, right? That's not how the whole world watches NXT, SmackDown, Saturday night's main event, PLEs, and the like, right? It is if you use NordVPN.com/Fightful. Just go there, check out which tier works for you. The very bottom tier is what I'm about to tell you about. It's $2.88 a month when you average it out over the 2-year deal plus the 4 months free. That is significantly less than any number of those services. Way less than Peacock, right? And when you log into NordVPN, change your virtual location, you can watch Saturday night's main event on YouTube. You can watch NXT on Netflix, the PLEs on Netflix. Good to go, saving you a whole bunch of money. Somebody says, oh, look at that. So Nord can get you all that for a single Netflix subscription. If you use NordVPN.com/Fightful or NordVPN in general, let us know in the chat. Also, save on pay-per-views. I saw so many people that got World's End and Full Gear for just the price of one pay-per-view. Saving yourself a ton of money with this deal. And you might say, Sean, I don't know. Don't know if it's for me. 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, there's a full list of features over at NordVPN.com/Fightful. Fastest VPN in the world. They got servers across 168 locations. Listen, if you're online, you're going to be geo-blocked from something, right? And Nord pays for itself on wrestling content alone. NordVPN.com/Fightful. Works on all devices, all operating systems. One subscription available on 10 devices. Pretty incredible. Oh, boy. I don't really remember much of what Paul Heyman said. I got to be real with you guys. I know he alluded to the fact that Logan Paul was like in the vision full time, but like, no disrespect to Paul Heyman. Who gives a damn what he said outside of the one thing he said? He was backstage with Adam Pearce and he goes, my client beat the world champion. And they have a little talk. And the logic wheels get turning because on January 5th, the 1-year anniversary of Raw on Netflix's debut, Bron Breakker versus CM Punk. I don't even remember as much of what Bron said during this promo. I just know it was with a promo that he delivered with such conviction and such confidence. He is the guy. Guys, go watch his interviews, his media interviews with like general media. The comments are full of, guys, he hates you all. He hates you. He hates you. He is so quiet and reserved and like guard up in these media interviews. And then he gets on that mic and you believe it. Oh, here he says, I'm going to ruin your life. I'm coming for your career. I'm coming for every good memory these people remember you for. I'm coming for it all. He brings up a promo from backstage, or he brings up a meeting CM Punk backstage last year says, congrats on all the success. Let's see if you can cut a promo with the big dogs now. He says, when they announced me as the new world heavyweight champion, look into my eyes with your big, stupid face. Realize you're not even close to Bron Breakker, the real best in the world. Bron is the guy. He is the guy now. Bron Breakker is to be chased, not to do the chasing. Will Chisholm says, good promo from Scott Steiner. Punk loses to Bron and wins EC in Chicago. I've got a better idea, guys. I got a better idea. How about we simply do not do Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns? Because I have two better options. CM Punk loses the championship to Bron Breakker. And then either Roman Reigns or CM Punk win the Royal Rumble. Let's say Roman Reigns does. And he doesn't choose Cody Rhodes. He chooses Bron Breakker. CM Punk wins the Elimination Chamber in Chicago. And then we've got CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, Bron Breakker versus Roman Reigns. Am I crazy here? Is that just not infinitely more exciting than the prospect of Roman and Cody again, of which I'm sure will be a good match? But it seems like a no-brainer. And by the way, I'd have Bron Breakker beat Roman Reigns. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, TBD, right? Like whoever's the right call. I want to see Cody Rhodes cutting promos on CM Punk, man. Like, I want to see that. I want to see Cody Rhodes out there saying, I left WWE and became everything that you claim you are, and then you tried to tear down what I helped build and had to run over here, and now here we are. I want to see Roman Reigns and Bron Breakker both hit the ropes going 234 miles an hour and spear each other at the same time and be out for the 9 count and barely make it to their feet in time for the 10. That's what I want. Big meaty men slapping meat on one night, and then I want 2 really, really, really great promo guys promoing their way all the way up to a fight. That's what I want. And then do Roman and Cody way down the line when people need Roman and Cody, when they need that, right? Because to me, the idea of firmly establishing a top guy in Bron Breakker with Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns looks at him and Roman Reigns gives him a nod and respects him, that goes a long way. And then you do what is a dream match to many with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. I have got to see Cody Rhodes with a chip on his shoulder. When people are like, oh, can he out-promo CM Punk? Yeah, he can. I need to see all the little catty references to AEW. And listen, Cody absolutely feels like his contributions to AEW are overwritten. So give him the opportunity to mention that. I went out and created something while you sat on your ass and were apathetic about things and were complaining about wrestling and were burying this place. I went out and made another place, then came back. And while I left, you ruined it. Because, they'll take a little shot at AEW, right? You ruined it, and it never recovered, something like that. And then you came running back to me. By the way, you're welcome for the house. Do that, man. Do that. Y'all know I love Cody. Love interviewing that man. Got nothing but love and respect for him. Roman Reigns is literally the intro of the hump. Fantastic performer. Let's just switch things around just a little bit. Alex says, I absolutely cannot take another, this show's going to be epic or game changing or whatever dumb buzzwords they use. Let's talk about that. But Triple H out there saying, the show is going to be epic. This was not an epic WWE Raw. He was fine. To me, a bad day of wrestling beats a good day of anything else, right? I love pro wrestling. Short of anything but NFL, I love pro wrestling, right? But what is, this is what we do. Y'all like that? This is going to be epic. This is going to be cinema. At this point, he just does it to rile up that base because he knows that people are eyeball emoji. All right. Okay. Today on the Wrestle Votes live show, I said, we haven't heard anything that's supposed to be epic on the show. People were asking me today, listen, all due respect, I have not heard anything that was supposed to be epic. This epic show did not have Becky Lynch. It did not have CM Punk. It did not have AJ Lee. It did not have Roman Reigns. Did not have John Cena. Didn't have a lot of people. And that's okay. I thought it was a solid show. I'm not going to look back at this show and say, man, that sucked. It was a fine show. I'm having fun talking about it with you guys. Some good matches, but epic? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Side thoughts. Braun beats Punk. Punk wins Chamber because Chicago. Punk faces Cody. Roman wins the Rumble, and it's Braun versus Roman. Boom Mania. Now, full disclosure, Alex sent this well before I went on my rant. So, shout out Alex for sending the Humper chats in. Dave Koss says, I had chatted about putting the title on Breaker before Mania, likely at the Rumble. So happier they're doing it in a month instead, assuming he wins. If they wanted to do it at the Rumble, that makes sense too. That way you don't have they don't have Punk losing the Rumble as well. Punk winning the Rumble has got to be something that eventually happens though, right? Like that's like a big feather in his cap that he hasn't accomplished. Dave Koss says, to add to your Gunther booking, retire Brock. Yes, I would be fine with that as well. Dave Koss says, let's clip SRS's Mania booking and spam it to Triple H now. Buddy, you best believe that every contact I have, I've planted it. Like, hey, guys, how about this one? How about this one? How about this one? I want to thank our wonderful sponsors at Aura Frames. Here's a little lore about our friends at Aura Frames. We used to do a Christmas show where we would generate super chats, humper chats, all that stuff. And whatever super chats, humper chats we got, basically Jimmy would match that. And then that would be like the Christmas bonus pool for our team, right? It's hard considering where we are with Fightful, and we are very successful, but listen, inflation exists, so not as much money coming in there. And also, times are hard, man. Like, I don't want to sit here and say to you guys, hey, super chat and humper chat, all these, so our guys can get Christmas bonuses. So basically, we spoke to Aura and we're like, how about y'all cover the Christmas bonuses and you sponsor every single show in the month of December? And they said, bet, let's do it. So shout out Aura Frames. Go there, use the code FIGHTFUL at auraframes.com. Show them a little bit of love. Miss Kate Fabe says, we're contractors and get bonuses. Sean and Jimmy are very kind. Listen, we love our staff, and we love all of you guys. If I met you at WrestleCade this weekend, I just want to say thank you, because that's incredible. Can't wait to go back. I am home for the next number of months. Very excited about that. But please subscribe to FightfulSelect.com, not just because of that, but because the Fightful Awards voting is underway, and it is completely open-ended. You type in your response. I am tabulating them myself. It is going through the end of December, and these awards are very important to me. Every year we do the Fightful Awards, and every year we spend quite a bit of money on those awards because we want the talent and the wrestlers and the people who win those awards and get nominated to know that the sacrifices physically, emotionally, as far as their relationships go, that they mean something to us, and we want to give them something that they're proud to hold. We've been very fortunate to have so many acceptance speeches from the likes of Rhea Ripley to Tony Khan to Swerve Strickland to Drew McIntyre. Like, the top stars in wrestling are proud to show these off. From what I understand, it sits on the mantle of the Briscoes, which is incredibly special to me. But if you would like to sponsor the Fightful Awards, contact myself, Fightful on Patreon, or Kate. It is $100 per ad read, and you get a live ad read. You can make your choice of kind of what categories are left. You can clip the ad read, use it anywhere you want. You'll get a link in the description. You'll get a link in the reply to that award announcement, and I will retweet it to 320, however many thousand followers that I have. I want to thank our moderator, Luis, for being here. I am back on Fightful Select probably tomorrow reviewing Survivor Series. I am back on Wednesday on The Hump with Miss Kate Fabe. That'll be fun. And then I am back on Wednesday for the Dynamite post show. The world of Fightful just keeps going, my friends. Thank you all so much. Check out my interview with Ash by Elegance. Until next time, we're out.